Hey, what's up, everybody? What's popping? What's cracking? What's happening? This is Ron Tucker with Ron's Talking. Is anybody listening? Just check me out at Ron's Talking on YouTube. I launched my first video yesterday, and if you didn't get a chance to check it out, please do so. Getting started, going to continue. Hopefully, just continue to get better at this, but it's been on my mind to do this for a long time, and I finally decided to get it done and get started with it. So here we go. Today is Wednesday, August the 14th, 2024, and a lot of things have been happening, of course, around the world, and especially here domestically. We have an individual named Donald Trump. Oh, yeah, Donald Trump. He was previously, I don't know how, but he was our 45th president of the United States. And ever since he's been former president, and even today as a candidate on the Republican ticket to get elected again, which is something we just can't have it. It just can't happen. Okay. But anyway, the man is a threat and a danger to our country and our way of life. Him and his supporters, they just are, to me, just like a virus, an infectious disease. He says so many nasty, derogatory things, not only about Kamala Harris and VP nominee Tim Walz. He says just crazy, nutty things about anything or anybody. And the man lies so incessantly. It's stunning. Anybody who's has to be fact-checked every time they open their mouth. You mean to tell me that that's the person you want in office as our commander-in-chief? Remember, he's already been there once, and it was a disaster. The man demonstrated no leadership qualities, showed incompetence at the highest degree, cannot really communicate with people at a level where if you're not putting money in his pockets, he's not really interested in you. He would tell you that. He's even told people that he doesn't really care about you. He just cares about your vote. It's the bottom line with him. And most of us already understand the reason why he's running for president, because it's simple. He's trying to keep his butt out of jail. If he can get enough votes to get back in the Oval Office again, he can do away with a lot of those convictions and charges against him and just manipulate the Justice Department like he did in his previous stint as Commander-in-Chief, and find some more Bill Barrs and other people that would do his bidding. This is what his plan is. That Project 2025 thing definitely is on his agenda, although, of course, he's backpedaling on that like a cornerback in the NFL. And we all know that it's tied to him. It's got his signature on the heck. His vice president even wrote the forward for the Project 2025 initiative. So that should tell you all you need to know about which direction these people want to take us in as a country. So anyway, I plan on talking about a few more things other than just Donald Trump. He's typically always first and foremost on my mind, and he's been that type of specter in our political discourse for the last, I'd say, 8 years, and he should never have been in the office of the presidency, period. And again, he lies so much that lie decided to take him to court and file a lawsuit for defamation. And then Truth decided to go ahead and become a witness for the prosecution against him too. So there you have it, and there you go. So there are a lot of people who feel like Mr. Trump is an astute, qualified, educated, successful businessman. Well, let's take a look at that. And let's see what we got here. Now, he's always been talking about his crowds are the biggest, and he's always first in everything, and you know, he knows everything about all things. But One thing, well, a few things he's really first in is this. He was first president in 28 years to not serve a second term. First president in 45 years not to release any of his tax returns. First president in 89 years to lose the presidency, the House, and the Senate in a single term. First president in 102 years to allow more than 120,000 Americans to die in a single virus outbreak. I remember his handling of the COVID. We can talk about that some other time. I think I covered that in my first video, but a lot of people aren't here today because of him. Okay. Anyway, first president in 129 years to lose the popular vote twice. Okay. First president in 152 years to boycott his successor's inauguration. First president ever to fail to hit a 50% approval rating at any point during their presidency. And if you don't believe it, okay, I got some of the information, the numbers here. The president that got the highest approval rating in history was Ronald Reagan at 62%. Next in line was Bill Clinton, 58.8%. President Obama was next at 51.6 approval rating, and G.W. Bush came in at, well, I take it back, Richard Nixon was ahead of G.W. Bush. Nixon came in at 51.7%, probably before he got busted, and G.W. Bush, 50.1%. Trump, his disapproval rate was at 38.6. So there's a breakdown on that. Let me continue on his many firsts. First president ever to accuse his predecessor of not being an American, which was President Obama, who happened to serve 2 terms, which still sticks in Trump's craw, I'm sure. He was the first president ever to be elected with the help of a foreign nation. His friend, his buddy, the man from Vlad, Mr. Putin. First president ever to be impeached twice. Notable distinction. First president ever to have a member of their own party vote for conviction in an impeachment trial. He is the first president ever to have an arrest warrant issued against him by a foreign nation. Another first was he was the first president ever to refuse to concede defeat. First president ever to fail to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. And he was the first president ever to actively incite a terrorist attack against his own government, a la January 6th. So with all those firsts and all those accolades that he's acquired and accrued, people still think he's the man with the plan. And I'm sure his plan is, like I said earlier, to keep his butt out of prison. President Trump, or former President Trump, should I say, man, I gotta work on that because, oh God, I just hate to think of his name as having president in front of it again. Former President Trump has been on a rant on Truth Social, and lately he's being courted by Elon Musk. Just had him yesterday on some discussion type of format, or that was just, a train wreck, a disaster because they had technical difficulties. Now you would think that somebody like Elon Musk would have his technical issues down to a minimum, being a tech person himself, but just goes to show you that it doesn't always work for people like him either. And speaking of Mr. Musk, I firmly believe that he is another person that is really a danger to our country. His views are out there, and I believe he likes to more or less acquiesce to the demands of some of our foreign enemies. And when he took over Twitter, I knew from the beginning that was going to be just a debacle. And I knew it was going to be a major problem. And I think the only reason he took over Twitter was to do what he's done to it. And a lot of the so-called supporters of Mr. Musk, they say that, well, like Byron Donalds, for example, the congressman from Florida, the convicted congressman from Florida. But anyway, that's another story for another day about his trials and tribulations and stuff. Mr. Donalds was trying to defend Trump on that interview with Musk the other day when Mr. Donalds, I believe it was on CNN, and he kept trying to push the idea that, Trump and Elon, collectively, they aren't really trying to do anything to subvert, our democracy, and that when Elon took over Twitter, that it was failing and they were losing money, and that's not true. They lost 15% of revenue as soon as Elon took over. He started cleaning house and everything. Twitter has never really recovered ever since the man took over as CEO. And I believe he did it just so he can control the narratives and allow Trump not only allowing Trump a easy path to get back on the platform and spew all his hatred and rhetoric and everything, but that was one of the reasons. And when you control a media apparatus like the size of Twitter, it's going to definitely make an impact and make a difference in how we communicate, how we see things, and it's a big influencer. So with that being said, y'all know that my feelings for our 45th president is very, very, very low. And I mean subterranean low. I don't want to say I hate the man, but I despise him very, very much. So that's my feelings about him. What I'm going to do now is make a transition over to sports. And just to give you a little insight on where I'm at when it comes to sports, I played basketball for years growing up. Thought I was pretty good based on the comments from people back in the day when I was coming up. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, so go Hoosiers. Got to put a plug in for my Indiana Hoosiers, especially the basketball team. Looking forward to the football team making some noise this year with the new coach. And when I was coming up playing ball, I really thought I was going to, have me a career at the higher level, like maybe even the NBA. But didn't happen. Didn't go down like that. That's the way life is sometimes. But I have some teams that I love and I hold very, very near and dear to my heart. I already mentioned my Indiana Hoosiers. I did attend Indiana University. Notre Dame, I'm down with the Fighting Irish. Go Blue. Home state team, got to roll with them. I roll with almost every home state team except Purdue. Everybody from Indiana and maybe people around the country know there ain't no love lost between the Hoosiers and the Boilermakers. So I'm very hard pressed sometimes to even root for them or roll with them when they are the last Indiana team standing in a tournament. But I fought hard to go with them in last year's NCAA championship game, but I knew they didn't really have the ability to deal with UConn, so they kind of put them and me out of my misery early in that game. But anyway, I'm a big fan on the professional side of basketball with the Indiana Pacers, being from Indiana, of course. Been rolling with them since the ABA days, but been a Boston Celtic fan for pretty much as long as I've been an Indiana Pacer fan. So there's nothing I have to say about the Celtics. 18 banners speaks for itself. And in football, got to give my coach love. I'm a huge 49er fan. So if there's any 49er fans out there that want to identify with me, hit me up. We could talk about it. I'm down with them every year. But, it'd be interesting if the Colts and the 49ers hooked up one time for a Super Bowl. I'd be kind of torn really can't reveal which team I'd really, put the hat on for, but, I'd love to see that happen. Baseball. Where am I at? Baseball. Oh, well, big Red Sox fan in the American League and the big San Francisco Giant fan in the National League. And both of those teams are, they're scratching and clawing, trying to possibly get a wild card berth, but it ain't looking too good for either one of them right now. So, we'll see what happens. And I love almost all the major sports. Got into golf because of Tiger's ascension to the top of the rung. Not into soccer, but it's probably the most popular sport in the world. Shout out to the USA Olympic basketball team and all the gold medal winners in track and field and Olympics. And honestly, I didn't watch a second of the Olympics. I was just too busy with other business endeavors and whatnot. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not going to hide behind anything other than the fact that I just didn't get it done. Caught highlights and whatnot, but didn't really sit down and enjoy the pageantry and the games being played of the Olympics themselves. So I have to do better in the next 4 years. Golf, hockey. Now, hockey's probably my least favorite sport because I don't know. It's just on TV. Of course, the puck's moving too fast, and you can't really follow it the way you want to. But everybody always tells me that to really appreciate a hockey game, you got to go there in person, and it's probably true. I don't know. One of these days, I might try it, but it looks cold in there. You know, as black people are about cold weather. I'm out here in Arizona, and it's not mighty warm. It's hot, but best time for me to call back home to the family is during the winter months. Just see how they're faring with snow and wind and ice and all that kind of stuff. But I don't try to rub it in too hard. I just want to see how they're doing. That's all. Just family love there. But those are my sports teams, and if anybody else has any, comments or thoughts about, some of the teams that I follow, maybe you got your own, of course. I'd like to debate you on it. Also, when it comes to the age-old question about who's the GOAT in this sport, that sport, any sport, particularly in basketball, it's always a debate about MJ, LeBron, Kobe, and some others. There's so many that can be mentioned in that same breath as being great. I always use this little phrase to kind of, to me, not diffuse the debate, because debate is good. Debate is healthy as long as people keep it, civil. But I always say that it takes more than one goat to make a herd. So there's enough room for everybody in the pen, so to speak. Personally, it's hard to say. I'm a big, huge LeBron fan. I mean, the man is like a Swiss Army knife. He's just a complete player. And Michael Jordan was as well, to a degree. LeBron does a couple things better than Mike, but the hardest thing for me is that every time I debate on which one I think is the greatest, and I can't stand the Lakers because I'm a Boston Celtic fan, right? But I mean, I follow LeBron, so when he went to LA, oh man, I was like, oh no, dude, don't go there. I don't want to deal with. I gotta like the Lakers because you're on the squad, and I started following the Lakers games for the last 2 or 3 years since LeBron's been on the team, and but I just love to watch him play. And after he retires and goes somewhere else, whatever, and leaves the Lakers, I'm done with them. But I was glad that the Celtics won another title, so that puts us one up over the Lakers, so for bragging rights. but I'm a huge LeBron fan. Like him not just from his basketball acumen, but everything he does as far as a man and a person and his business skills. He really is, to me, a role model to follow. Some people might differ with that. That's their opinion. That's their right. It's okay. But I ain't seen him on no blotters. I don't see nothing but a lot of rumors and stuff about him having any issues of infidelity against his wife and all this kind of stuff. So I like the way he walks. I like the way the man talks. I like his game. I like his game off the court. So that's why I'm down with him. But back to Mr. Jordan. See, the problem with taking sides against either one of them, Jordan or LeBron, when you watch their videos, it always makes you just start scratching your head. And when you see one video and then you look at the other one, you're like, Mike looked like he's a clear-cut favorite to be the GOAT. Ain't no doubt about it. Look at all the things he does, all the moves he does, and this and that, and just his ability to dominate. And then you watch LeBron and some of his highlights, and you're like, oh, man, wow. Woo, man. Boy, that dunk was nasty. And, look how he passed the ball. So, to me, it's so subjective because one is great in his videos, the other one's great in his videos, and then you can't really shut Kobe out. But I think if I was to select the top three, it would be I just watched Mike last night, and today I'm gonna put Mike on top, and LeBron number 2, and then Kobe number 3. So that might change tonight if I watch LeBron and some of his highlights. And plus, LeBron's still playing, so the beauty of it is I get to see maybe a couple more years of him perform, and to me, that's just watching history. So anyway, enough of sports. Let's morph into some individuals that have just, I guess, gotten themselves on the radar screen in our country with certain things that they've done. There's a lot of stuff out there that just makes you scratch your head. I'm going to start with how about a nutty neighbor. Father of 2 in Canton, Michigan was shot dead and was shot 4 times by his neighbor. And guess what the reason was? Because the victim's daughter touched his mulch on his lawn. Process that for a minute, folks. I mean, it's sad. It really is sad. I'm not going to try to joke about anything like that, except the fact that, I saw the picture of the guy who did the shooting, and he's out there. He's out there in left field. He ain't dealing with a full deck, and it's a shame that a guy had to lose his life over something like that. But mental issues, they're out there. This dude came out. After he shot this guy, he was in a standoff with the law enforcement. And I think the standoff lasted for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or whatever. But he finally came out because he had barricaded himself in, and then he came out talking about, praise God Almighty, praise God Almighty. And so, I guess cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But it's brutal. Here's another one that kind of caught my attention, and I think Loveland, Colorado. What I call it a burger beatdown. There was a CEO of an investment firm who lost it after a teen who was horsing around with his buddies at an In-N-Out burger joint accidentally splashed some water on the guy's wife. Now, the guy was 55 years old, and after his wife got splashed with the water by those kids horsing around, he put the snatch on the kid's neck and put him down the tile floor. So, and the kid he was 15, allegedly approached the lady after he had splashed her with the water to apologize, but hubby wasn't having none of that. So, you know, the man and his wife left before the cops showed up, but he later turned himself in, and now he's being charged with second-degree assault, strangulation, and child abuse. I don't really know how I would have reacted in a scenario like that if that happened to me and my wife. Somebody, well, you know, let me try to be as diplomatic as I can. Sometimes young kids or teenagers or whatever will horse around a little bit too much, and in my opinion. And I grew up in a whole different era of life that we not to say I never horsed around, but there were certain parameters that you stayed within, and you, not every family, but we were taught extreme discipline, extreme. You know, I'm talking about from my mom's. Shout out to Beham, Alabama. But anyway, if you're horsing around in a restaurant and something like that happens, and then, you know, the husband is probably going to just act like a bull seeing a red cape. You know, he's going to trip because he's more or less defending his wife and her honor and all those kind of intangibles. In other words, he's pissed. So when he put the snatch on that kid, it was probably just a reaction. Now, some men, I guarantee you, they can be a-holes when a situation like that arises. But I always say cooler heads prevail, but they normally are cooled off after the incident has happened. So when the stuff hit the fan, it was a wrap. And so I don't know. I think kids just have to be careful. I don't know what type of upbringing these young men had or have from their parents. A lot of times I think parents they take a bad rap sometimes for their kids' behavior. So since most of us never know, and all we can do is speculate like I'm doing now, things happen. And I think, of course, if the adult can think back and reflect on what he did initially, he wouldn't have done it. So, but it's always hindsight what makes all of us look like geniuses after the fact. So, I guess the lesson learned is those teens probably gonna stay out of In-N-Out burgers for a while, and probably DoorDash is probably gonna be their best option moving forward. So, there you go. Anyway, I want to touch base real quick though on that black lady that was sentenced to 9 years, I believe. I forget. I'm not sure the state was in Missouri or Minnesota somewhere. Anyway, some people might have heard about her incident. She got busted for stealing chicken wings. I think she was a school board. Well, not school board. She worked at a school, and I think she was. I'm not sure if she was an administrator, but anyway, she worked at a school, and she had been, I guess, misappropriating chicken wings for about 9 years, and they totaled it up to be about $1.5 million wings that she, I guess, she didn't eat them all herself, of course, but I guess she'd been supplying her family with those wings for years. And man, I mean, it's kind of steep as far as the punishment. I mean, she stole. When you steal things, you're subject to be punished. I don't know. How did they let it go on that long without popping her a long time ago? But you know how it is with that barnyard pimp. When chicken is involved in those wings, man, That's a hard temptation for some people. So the racial jokes are gonna fly about it, have been flying. No pun intended about the wings, but whew, that's rough. That's rough. I mean, 3.5 years, maybe something less. I mean, I don't know if she was hungry all the time, her family was hungry all the time. I don't know. I can't even put my finger on the cause of somebody want to misappropriate chicken wings for 9 years. I mean, it's crazy. But one thing for sure, I don't think she's gonna be ordering no chicken wings or getting any wings when she's in prison for this this foul crime she committed. But I'm just saying, I'm gonna leave it at that. So anyway, I hope you folks enjoyed my video. Don't forget to hit me up with a like or subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it, the support if I get that, because obviously I'm trying to grow, trying to get this thing off the ground. Hope to do better. I'll take the negative comments as well too, because it all helps me get better. So all I want to say is take care of yourselves, take care of your family and your friends. Let's make sure that DJT doesn't get back in office again, because right now it looks like no matter what him and his supporters say about, he's always saying we're in decline as a country, we're failing. No, we ain't failing nothing. What we failed to do was keep your butt out of office the first time in 2015. But hopefully history won't repeat itself again, and I hope that not enough crazy, idiotic people out there are going to be dumb enough to vote for you again, to put you back in a place where you had no business being in the first place. That's all I got to say about it. Talk to you good folks again later, and I am out. Peace.